Welcome back to Sec Plus as presented by the 336 Training Squadron here at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. I am Second Lieutenant Jacob Chan, and today we'll be talking about cloud storage. We'll go over what is the cloud, local storage versus cloud storage, and we'll highlight the different security issues with cloud storage. So what is the cloud? You hear that term being thrown around a lot, but nobody really explains what it is. The cloud is basically a service model that provides virtual services, mainly data storage for millions of consumers all over the world. So it's not really a physical entity, it's more of a virtual entity. And you can think of the cloud as a bunch of physical servers that are distributed around the world. And all of these physical servers power the cloud, and the cloud provide virtual services, mainly storage for people around the world. And the cloud is formed by many other clouds, so there's not just one cloud. There's many other clouds such as Google Drive, Apple iCloud, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, Amazon Cloud Drive, and the collectiveness of all these different clouds is referred to as the cloud. And here you have the definition as defined by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and I'll leave that up to you to read. Next, we'll talk about local storage versus cloud storage. So when we're talking about local storage, we're referring to storing data locally on hard drives like your laptop, your computer, or external hard drives, USB and flash drives. Whereas when we're talking about cloud storage, we're talking about storing data remotely on online servers. And with local storage, since you're storing all the data on, locally on your hard drive and USBs, etc., you can only access your data if you can access the physical medium. Meaning if you were to lose your USB, or if you can't access your computer, you're not going to be able to access your data. Whereas with cloud storage, you can access your data from anywhere because it's online. Meaning if you're working on a project at work and you want to continue working on it at home, you can do that because the data is stored in the cloud. You can access your data from anywhere. So that brings me to my next point. With local storage, it doesn't require internet access to files. That makes sense because all the files are stored locally. You just need access to your computer or wherever you stored it, whatever physical medium you stored the data on. Whereas with cloud storage, you definitely need the internet or you won't be able to access your data. Also with local storage, data can be permanently lost if disaster were to occur, such as theft, fire, floods, earthquakes. So if your physical medium that you're storing your data on gets damaged, unless you have a backup, that data is permanently lost. Whereas for cloud storage, the data is protected as long as the servers are okay. Meaning, even if a fire were to happen at your house and your computer is destroyed, you can still access the files on a different computer, unless something happens to the cloud servers. But cloud services provided by big companies such as Google will have backup servers in different parts of the world. In terms of speed, local storage is usually very fast backup, whereas cloud storage, the backup speed is dependent on the internet speed. So if you have a fast internet speed, fast backup, slow internet speed, slow backup. But it's typical that local storage backup is a lot faster than cloud backup. So in terms of cost, local storage is very expensive because you have to pay for all the hardware, right? You got to pay for the external hard drives, you got to pay for the regular hard drives, and hardware is expensive. Whereas with cloud storage, it's quite cost effective because you're not paying for any hardware, you just need a computer that doesn't even need to be super fast or anything. Cloud servers are usually already fast, so that's already taken care of for you. In terms of security, local storage, data is safe from cyber attacks if you disconnect from your network. Whereas for cloud storage, data is more vulnerable to cyber attacks because everything is on the internet. And when you have stuff on the internet, it's always vulnerable to hackers. So let's dive a little bit more deeper into the security issues with cloud storage. All right, like I mentioned before, for local storage, you can disconnect from the network, but there's no real way to disconnect from the cloud. If you ever heard the saying, anything stored on the internet is permanent, you can You can try to delete something from the cloud, but is it really deleted? Leave that up to you to decide. Another problem is lack of control for public clouds. Anyone has access to public clouds, and the safety of your data is dependent on the security of the cloud. And there are security measures in place, but because the cloud is an online service, it is always vulnerable to hackers. So, good measures for cloud security. Be aware of what you store on the cloud. Don't put anything on the cloud that you wouldn't want to lose. And for highly sensitive data, like for businesses or for organizations, store it in a private cloud. Also, keep your cloud accounts secure and don't let anyone else have access to the password. And be aware of different types of access controls. For example, don't give someone who only needs access to a certain file full access to the folder, because then they can completely change anything or delete or modify anything that's in that folder. So today we talked about what the cloud is. We went over local storage versus cloud storage, and we talked about the different security issues with cloud storage. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.